Evening, folks. This is the Kobol Expander. Really, this is just a first play. I'm essentially just testing it to make sure it works out of the box, which it does. I literally just received this today. I'm in the UK. This can be purchased from Thomann, £133. Anderton's £138, and I think Gear for Music, I think there's more, 150. Don't know what it'll be in the States, but it'll be around about $130 to $50, I would say, in the States, at a guess. So once again, you know, Behringer really coming in at a very competitive price with these nice little synthesizers. So yeah, this is first play. I've not looked at the manual yet, not looked at a lot of videos. You will get the synth in the box. You'll get two patch cables. I mean, it's better than none, isn't it? Obviously the power adapter, a USB adapter as well, because this will do MIDI over USB, and a ribbon cable if you want to take this out of the enclosure and put it into a Euro rack case. So that's what comes with it. What else do I need to tell you? Yeah, I mean, like I say, this is literally a first play. So I'm not really going to unlock any of the deeper and hidden sounds hiding in this synthesizer. Let's go. Editor Mark here. In the video, which I've just been editing together, I keep referring to this as the Kobol Explorer. It's not called the Kobol Explorer, it's the Kobol Expander. I don't know where Explorer is coming from. Is that a Moog synth? Anyway, it's the Kobol Expander. We all know that. I keep misspeaking in this video. Right, Kobol Expander from Behringer is what it looks like. So the first thing to say is, one, it's the longer form of like these sort of desktop modules. So now the Model D is about there. I think the Pro one's one of the long ones, and the K2 is one of the long ones. I think the Wasp is one of the shorter ones. So in the last video I uploaded, well, or two videos ago, I was obviously playing with the Wasp, which is one of the simpler ones. The Kobol Expander has I/O and patch points for everything, it seems. Everything. I've literally just turned it on to test that it works. Which, that's how it sounds. Sounds shocking. So it seems there's a kind of LFO section here, an oscillator section here, a filter. There's two ADS envelopes, no release. And it's not, I'm not sure, is one a sort of amp envelope and the other is the filter. It's not quite clear, even though there's like these sort of lines that are sort of telling me where the signal flow, I guess. First things first, let's just tune it, which I think is these frequency buttons here, and then maybe just put a bit of reverb from the lexicon and just hear the whatever waveform is selected. These are my waveforms. There's lots of different shapes of waveform with this guy. Lots of different shapes, which is nice. There's also, I don't know what that does. I don't know what that does. Not really sure how the LFO is set up. There's some switches here and here. Not really sure what they do. Well, there's tune and there's frequency. Okay, so let's have a proper tune up and play. Okay, we're in tune. So we've got two voices, which we control the volume of each voice separately. Voice one, voice two. And I guess we could have a little bit of fun with the tunings there, which is called frequency on the Kobol Explorer. The waveform is a sort of it's not a discrete switch. It's like it's a continuous encoder. Let's just listen to voice one. And similar deal. also see that there's a patch point for that, so you can probably change the waveform with an LFO. Cool. The Neutron can do that as well. So that's cool. So we can tune it. We can select a waveform. Let's go back to 12 o'clock. Let's give you some reverb. Bit of delay. Decent sound, isn't it? Yeah, it sounds good. Sounds good. This is the filter frequency and resonance. Keys control, I'm guessing that's if how much of the sort of higher notes on the keyboard will control the filter. ADS control, probably how much of the envelope is interacting with the filter. It's clear as mud, isn't it? So I'm guessing it's a low pass filter. And yes, there's a patch point for the frequency and for the resonance as well. Interesting. And yeah, the filter will sing. Okay. In terms of envelope, I'm not really sure what's going on here. This is the amp envelope, by the sounds of it. Slow attack. Just have both voices. Are both voices playing? Yes, both voices playing. Yeah, not entirely sure what I'm doing with that second envelope generator. Not entirely sure, but this is the first play, not read the manual at all. But this seems like an amp envelope. No decay, so if you just want... I guess the decay and the sustain, I guess if you want those long releases, because there isn't a release. But okay. This is a master volume. That's a simple one. Obviously it's a mono synth. yeah, a nice snappy envelope. Alrighty. Fairly simple-ish. I've got to turn the LFO rate up, so that's obviously indicating the LFO rate. So fairly simple-ish mono synth and fairly simple layout. Few buttons to change things. I need to find out what there's. Oh, there's a noise generator. White and pink. Is that noise? Maybe. But maybe that needs to, yeah, not sure how to get the noise. Maybe it's only available from a patch point. That's fine. Yeah, so I think the nice thing about this synth is its patchability. So that's the next thing to explore. I'm trying to set up a basic sort of tremolo. So LFO2 output is going to the volume control of the first voice. That works. We can change the waveform using the LFO. Probably where the waveform starts probably makes a difference as well. Yep, we can do that. And we can do a sort of wah-wah pedal, LFO output into the filter frequency. Yep, that works. So this is weird. The resonance also has its own input. So you can do a similar thing to the wah-wah pedal, but for resonance. Now I have turned this way down, because you can hear that filter sort of scream away. Okay, I can't think of another synth that I own that I can control the resonance with an LFO or some other control voltage signal. Very interesting little bit. Watch your ears, I'd say. Watch your ears. Okay, so this is just a first look. Haven't really dived into the manual or even watched a lot of videos, I don't think, on the Kobol Explorer. So the selling point of this little old synth is, well, you know, that kind of 70s, 1970, was it 9, 8? When the original came out. But it's I guess it's the patchability and doing interesting things with the synth itself, or integrating it with the Euro Rack system, or even just, you know, anything interesting that can send or receive control voltage or gate. Don't know if I can do interesting things like tempo sync in LFO, now have that sync to a clock source, or anything like that. I'm not seeing like a sample and hold circuit. There's no apparent ring modulator, but obviously there may be ways to emulate that kind of a thing with some of the patching. But yeah, okay, I need to sort of explore this. I did see the VCF, the filter, has an audio in, so it looks like we can use this filter to process external audio, albeit we'll probably have to trigger the envelope, probably, but that's a nice thing to look at. So we can do that with I'm going to say, many of these monosynths, all of them, many of them, like the Wasp will do that, for example. Well, we could even take an audio out, put it back into the filter as well, and do that trick. So lots of playing to be done. Yeah, okay, let's call it a day. Cheers, bye, 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 bye.